In the quiet town of Wilson County, North Carolina, a tragedy unfolded in June 2017 that would leave a mark on the community and its residents, a mark that many would struggle to comprehend. It was a sunny day, the kind that usually brings families together, laughter echoing through backyards, children playing in the streets. But on that day, the laughter faded, replaced by a chilling silence that would soon be shattered by the harsh realities of violence and loss. Michael Allen Joyner, a 38-year-old man, was living what many would consider a typical life. He had a wife, Michelle, who was just 36, and together they were raising their young child, a toddler who was still discovering the world around them. But beneath the surface of this seemingly ordinary family life, darkness lurked. It's often said that we can never truly know what goes on behind closed doors, and in this case, that saying couldn't ring more true. On June 2, 2017, the authorities were prompted to conduct a welfare check on Dennis Ray Joyner, Michael's father, who had been absent from work without any explanation. It's a scenario that plays out in countless families where a loved one suddenly goes quiet and concern begins to creep in. As deputies arrived at the Joyner residence on Evansdale Road, they were met with a scene that would haunt them forever. Inside, they found the bodies of Michelle and Dennis, brutally murdered with an axe, a weapon that symbolizes the raw, unfiltered rage that can erupt in moments of despair. And there, locked away in a bedroom, was the couple's toddler, unharmed but trapped in a nightmare that no child should ever have to endure. It's a haunting image that stirs something deep within us, a reminder of the innocence lost in the wake of adult decisions that spiral out of control. How could a man, a husband, a father, commit such an unspeakable act? What led him to such a horrific breaking point? These are the questions that lingered in the air, unanswered and heavy. In the days following the murders, Michael Joyner became a fugitive, fleeing North Carolina as if he could outrun the consequences of his actions. His vehicle was discovered at Raleigh-Durham International Airport, leading investigators to believe he had boarded a flight to California. It's a desperate move, one that speaks to the fear and panic that can seize a person in the aftermath of a crime, but also to a profound sense of denial about the reality of what had just occurred. Just a day later, on June 3, 2017, the Los Angeles Police Department caught up with him in San Pedro, California. The arrest was swift, but the implications were far-reaching. Michael was extradited back to North Carolina to face the music, and in November 2018, he pleaded guilty to the murders of his wife and father. The court sentenced him to life in prison without the possibility of parole, a fate that many would argue is a small price to pay for the lives he extinguished. This case is more than just a grim statistic. It's a stark reminder of the insidious nature of domestic violence. It's a topic that often goes unspoken, hidden behind closed doors, and brushed aside in casual conversations. But the reality is that domestic violence can happen to anyone, anywhere, regardless of socioeconomic status, race, or background. It thrives in silence, and it's only when we begin to talk about it, to recognize the signs, that we can hope to address it. The Joyner case underscores the importance of community vigilance. Neighbors, friends, family, everyone plays a role in creating an environment where individuals feel safe to speak up, to seek help, and to escape the cycles of violence that can entrap them. We often hear about the signs of domestic abuse, frequent injuries, isolation from friends and family, changes in behavior, but recognizing these signs is only the first step. It's crucial that we also create spaces where victims can feel supported and empowered to take action. Imagine if someone had noticed the signs in Michael and Michelle's relationship. What if a friend had reached out or a neighbor had intervened? It's easy to think that we're just being nosy, that it's not our place to get involved, but the reality is that sometimes a simple act of kindness can make all the difference in the world. In the aftermath of such tragedies, communities often come together to support the victims, to honor their memory, and to advocate for change. It's a powerful testament to the resilience of the human spirit, but it also serves as a reminder of the work that still needs to be done. We must not allow the memory of Michelle and Dennis Joyner to fade into obscurity. Instead, let their story be a rallying cry for awareness and action against domestic violence. As we reflect on this case, let's remember the innocent child who was left behind, who will grow up with the knowledge that their parents were taken from them in the most brutal way imaginable. That child deserves a chance at a life free from the shadows of violence, a chance to heal and to thrive. It's our responsibility as a community to ensure that no child has to bear the weight of such a tragedy. In closing, I urge everyone to take a moment to reflect on the impact of domestic violence. Talk to your friends, educate yourselves, and be vigilant. If you see something, say something. We must stand together to create a world where families can feel safe in their own homes, where love does not turn to rage, and where the cycle of violence is broken. The Joyner case is a somber reminder of what can happen when we turn a blind eye, but it can also be a catalyst for change. Together, we can make a difference. Together, we can be the voice for those who can't speak up. Let's honor the memory of Michelle and Dennis Joyner by committing ourselves to a future where no one has to endure what they did.